Yo, what's up guys, Seiishizo over here. And you maybe have seen the video of Shambi that he secretly took a break from Summoners War because he's just not really enjoying the game. Like TLDR, I definitely do recommend checking out this video. I did do a little bit of react to it on the stream as well. But the TLDR of the video is like, it's just pretty much not that fun. He's kind of burned out, and I think you can see it in all kinds of trends. You might be familiar with this post, which is posted in the /r gacha gaming community on Reddit, and they pretty much post whatever a game makes. Keep in mind that this is excluding a bunch of things. It's just checking like whatever they can check. I'm not exactly sure which numbers those are. So I wouldn't necessarily look at the numbers, but I would look at the increase and decrease. Like those are the two like important factors. So of course we're gonna care about Summoners War. We don't really care that much about the rest, but we're looking at 5 mil and it increased to 6 mil. And that is on a moment of a collab. So this was no collab, this is collab. That's pretty darn bad. And I noticed it myself as well with my spending. To be honest, it's been to the point where I feel like nothing really gives me that much of an improvement to be spending on. But before we dive into that, what do these 5 and 6 mil numbers mean? Like, what does it come from? What is it normally when things are going good? Well, you can actually check their actual site, and there they have a bunch of numbers. And we can see like in a good month when there's collapse, and I have like more of an overview on that later. The collab that we had in January actually generated 12, whereas the collab right now is generating 6. That's definitely a really big drop. And might you say it's like, okay, we definitely are going downhill over here. That is true. But has Summoners War been at like a 5 or 6 mil point earlier? Because this one only goes back towards like the November month of 2024. But I've been tracking the data on this myself a little bit on the side a bit longer. So I have this one over here, which I also did mention in what kind of things are going on at that moment. Let me make myself a little bit smaller to keep the last one in there as well. So here you can kind of see the numbers. We're doing like 14 million on a collab with Assassin's Creed. 10 million on the Reloaded patch. Then we had a little bit of a downfall. In general sense, you do see a little bit of a downfall at some point, like after SWC, that goes a little bit down. In the December month, it goes a bit more up. When we have collapse, it goes a bit more up, and those kind of things. The 10th anniversary was like a really stable, good few months out there. Jujutsu Kaisen collab, big boost, booster event. A lot of new players coming in, good boost. We had the Fine of the 10x10, which was a good boost. Demon Slayer right after that, good boost. And then we definitely went into a pretty hard downhill. Like the 9 over here looks kind of good, but we dropped all the way down to 5. If we compared it to last month or last year, we had a 5 over there as well. But then we got into the Jujutsu Kaisen collab, and we went to 12. We are sitting here on a 6. That is half. That is an insane amount of money less that people are willing to spend on the game. And it is fairly understandable because for me as well, when I was still like kind of like pretty try-harding, I was spending easily a K to a K and a half in a month. And how do you spend like a K to a K and a half in a month? You pretty much buy all of those special packs. Like currently I bought a few over here. I spend a little bit more because of the collab right now. But I spent this month probably, or let's say last month, I probably spent like 300-400. Whereas normally I would be spending a K during collapse, K and a half, that kind of stuff. Keep in mind, I make money from playing the game in the first place. So for me, spending is a little bit easier than I would recommend for most people to do, because for me, it's an investment. So in a weird way, whatever you want to call that. But yeah, that's a lot of people. And actually, I know a lot of people around me that also were spending like, I would say a K to a K and a half is where you get like the high value of all of the packs looking like something like these, where you get like these kind of things. Afterwards, it really drops off hard, like the more you spend, the less value you get. But to be honest, at some point I was looking, it's like, okay, what kind of value am I actually getting from it? Currently, I'm sitting on 720 LD scrolls, no LD5. It's just disappointment. I'm sitting on 2 years of re-apps. And keep in mind, I mostly bought all of these and all of these. I didn't go for the specific re-app packs itself, but I bought all of these and all of these all the time. And I'm sitting on 2 years of re-apps without a quad speed. At some point, it's like, yeah, I can keep trying to buy more, roll more, and do more, but that's just simply, it doesn't feel rewarding at all. And that's kind of the downtrend we see over here as well. And that's just kind of sad to see. And also in general sense, like the Reloaded patch, nothing really is happening new to the game. And that's also what Shambi said in his video. Nothing is really happening new to the game. We're just like mindlessly farming, and to be honest, I still kind of get somewhat enjoyment out of trying to get like a good rune here and there. But getting a good rune that is better than all of your best runes right now is near impossible unless you're a crazy sacker, pretty much. Getting something that's close to your best sets to get more spread, to be able to rune up more units, is somewhat doable, but that's pretty hard in the first place as well. So yeah, getting any upgrades is just incredible difficult. Getting any new units is incredible difficult. They add new units to the pile and... oh wait, haven't done this one yet. We're gonna be on 721 scrolls, no LD5. Thank you for that. Also, I'm sitting at, I think... I don't know how many... I think I'm like 40-ish LD scrolls, no lightning right now or something like that. But also, right now, let's see. We have the SP up, right? I am still missing about 4 collab units. How many scrolls did I do on this event just now? And how many units did I actually pull on that? So I have done about a 3.5k scrolls, and I'm missing half of the units. With the average rate of like keeping that on, I need 7,000 scrolls to be able to get all of the units, which is just absurd. There's like no pity, there's no guarantees, there's just an SP up. The first session I did on like, I think it was like close to like 3,000-ish scrolls or something like that. I only pulled 2 of them, and out of pulling 2 of them, the other one was like 3 times duped. So that's the kind of thing where it's just, it feels so unrewarding, and it feels more and more unrewarding, and Com2us is not really bringing any hype to the game. They release new units, but in the end, from all of the units, there's only like a very substantial small amount being actually good. Like Fire Jin is just a maybe, and that's the best from the RGB units. Like, it's just the Light Hwarang. Besides Light Hwarang, they're all ass. And that is the hype they have been, yeah, pretty much this whole time, there was no hype whatsoever. And that's like a good half year. You're losing a lot of players in a half year of time when there's nothing going on. Demon Slayer at least had like 1 or 2 units that were good on release. Like, not that much. They also kind of drifted out of meta already. But at least we had the Zenitsu on Wind that everyone was like, yo, I want this one. This one actually cool. This one actually does something. But same for the minigames. Like, to be honest, they add this. Like, this is content. This is what we get added after 6 months of getting nothing. The minigames are pretty much hated by more people than loved by most people. The arcade battle, yeah, you just do that because you get rewards, but besides that, who cares? The collab missions are kind of annoying because I don't have this one runed up, I don't have that one runed up. I think there's more people. Let me know in the comments, are you lower or higher level than I am in this right now? Because personally, I feel like I'm super slacking on this. I don't feel like, oh, I have to do Steel Forts, not runed up, whatever, I don't do it. After this, I don't have it runed up, I don't do it. I don't care. I try to still keep doing all of those for the most part. But for the daily missions, I just don't care. Like, also the rewards on this, you can purchase the 2x, but let's look at what you get for a 2x on this. Wait, can you, if you click on this, I want to see what you get on this. Okay, that's what I did thus far. But to be honest, the rewards for 30 bucks on this is just, it's up on leveling. Okay, so this is what I will still get, and this is what I will get instantly. I'm not gonna spend 30 bucks for 18 scrolls. Like, what the fuck? You barely get jack shit. With this, we will get like the 3 re-ups. Maybe if you finish it all the way to 100, it's closing into like a 30-ish value. But it's pretty much just this scroll. This scroll with a bunch of whatevers. Like, all of these rewards are not that interesting. At some point in time, they actually made like the re-up packs give you more re-ups. They made certain things give you more LDs. They lowered the value of an LD scroll, that kind of stuff. They actually had some good value packs, or at least the feeling was good for the value on the packs. But to be honest, I also saw Kalian Bao. Like, Kalian Bao streaming these days. Definitely do check him out. It's pretty funny. He's playing a lot of RTA. He's doing like sick-ass whaling content, like throwing like 30k at the game. Like, dude spending as much in one stream as I spent in like the whole 10 years. If I'm even at that number, yeah, I'm probably over the number, but close to, I don't know. But yeah, he did 800 scrolls of LDs, and he got 1 blessing after like 700 scrolls, and they were double dupe. Then again, the man only misses like 25-ish LDs or something like that. But that just shows it feels very unrewarding. And there has been a lot of things which has been said in the community is like, oh, they could do this, they could do that, they could do this, they could do this kind of hype event, that kind of hype event, 4-star LD choice event, events rather than you have like the +6 event on these kind of runes where you make a +18 and then it remains 18, except for the one guy in your guild that always gets the 30 and then is now complaining that you only got a 26 kind of guys. Rather than that, make things a little bit more consistent. Give people a reason to play. Make an event where you +9 a rune, and the +9 rune is just a hero rune. So everyone can choose their 24 speed in their exact slot that they want. They can choose their rune in the exact slots like, oh, I need like a 32 accuracy in here or a 24 crit rate in here. Give us a little bit more of guaranteed stuff when you're playing for it. And I can see that as well with the RTA meta. For me, the RTA meta, it's not the worst by all means, but it's definitely really bad for everything is half an activation check. Like the Shiho, arguably best unit in the current meta, or one of the best units in the current meta. His skill 3 can decide to completely not land. Simple as that. We have these kind of skills. 30% if they landed on the first hit or the last. It's an insane big difference. This thing, super meta out there, doesn't have a full activation rate on the strip. At least we don't have the Twin Angels in the meta anymore, but Twin Angels S2 was a 60% check. Like, not even the resistance or the accuracy matters. It's just straight up like, oh, something was too OP, let's nerf it. Let's make it a 85% check rather than 100. By all means, remove this whole fucking 85 and don't place that at all. Like, if something is too OP, either make it 100% or make it 0%, but boost it in a certain way that we can at least look at some consistencies. Because people are just disliking the inconsistencies. We can see it by the numbers in the drop-off value. Let me know in the comments, like, did you over the last year started spending less on the game or started playing less on the game? Because I think that's been the general trend with a lot of people where they just have been enjoying the game a lot less. And you can see it in the trend over here as well, like Google. It still has some decent numbers, especially when there's like certainly like a collab coming up or like there's anything big coming up. That's nice and niche, but in the end, you can also check this website. I really like this website. You can actually simply go through every month, pretty simple of saying it's like, okay, what happened last month? So we could say, for example, this year in the January month, we had the collab. Collab was pretty hype, was pretty nice. What did we have in the second month? We had absolutely nothing. Yeah, nothing was going on. Well, a little bit more of the collab, but besides that, nothing. Third month, we had like the 4,000 days. Sure. Besides that, absolutely nothing going on. Fourth month, we had the anniversary. Let's actually look at the numbers of how much the anniversary improved. So we're looking at the fourth month. So this is the 10-year Annie. Or wait, not the 10-year Annie. So the 11-year Annie. So that explains the 9 mil rather than the other one. So we had a little bit of stuff going on over there. Fifth month, we still had a little bit of that going on. So that does also explain like still having an 8 in there. Then we had the 6th month. Global Server 11th anniversary. Ah, yeah, this is where we get like these. We have seen like these recycled events many times. Like this is the 6-star legendary runecraft event. We have seen it many times. We have seen the re-up events. Did you get anything good from the 100 re-ups you got in here? Because personally, I didn't get anything. I think I kept 1 fight rune. That's as good as it gets, man. Everything just feels so stupidly unrewarding. 7th month, that's where we had pretty much absolutely nothing. And then the 8th month, we had pretty much absolutely nothing. And we ended in with the Tekken 8 collab, which is a little bit, but Tekken 8 collab also pretty much still nothing is going on. So also last time we had a big patch. I've mentioned this before, but the big patch was dated back to 2023 or freaking June 30th. And this big patch was, I think, adding in SR, Spiritual Realm. No one liked that. Like Loki, no one liked this shit. They added in the seal runes and the intangible runes. In all honesty, let me check. I farm a whole good bit. Let's see in RTA how many intangible runes I use since 2 years. I'm very curious about this. So let's see if we put this to intangible. We select it on everything. We select it over here. How many intangible runes do I use in RTA? 0. I have 88 semi-usable intangible runes, it seems, and I use 0. So what are the best ones I have? This is arguably usable. This is not that bad. That should probably be usable somewhere. This arguably usable-ish, also not that crazy. This one over here, and nothing too special. That's 2 years of intangible rune farming, and that was there like, yo, we added in intangible runes. Shit is gonna be insane. I use 0. Like, sure, some people probably have some intangible runes that are pretty nice and stuff, but I have fucking 0 of those. And that was the big hype patch of 2 years ago. Let's see what was the one before, the 7.0. How far are we back for the 7.0? Less than a year before that. It was like a good 10 months before that. What did we get over there? We did get the World Guild Battle over there. It was not really that much of a hype. Scamstones changing to a different kind of Scamstones. Kind of same. Definitely some guild changes, and that's about it. So they removed the normal guild battle, and they added in the World Guild Battle. That was the big 7.0. Also, arguably, where you're like, is that a really big patch? I don't know. 6.0, then we're talking 5 years ago already. That's why they added in Dimensional Predator. They actually already removed the Dimensional Predator at that time. But that's already artifact farming. And definitely artifact farming is to a certain extent what also made a lot of people quit the game, because they had no clue what half of this shit meant. If they had like a better way of explaining it in the game rather than being like, yeah, we don't want to explain that shit, that's for you guys to figure out, then people could actually read up on it in game. Because still right now, to this day, most accounts I log into, if they ask me for an account review, I can simply say, your artifacts are trash, just farm more artifacts. People don't understand the artifact part, and I do know a whole big part of people that were even like more tryhard, but they quit over artifacts because they were like, I just want to farm like Swift quads and that kind of stuff, and now I also have to farm artifacts, and I don't want to do that. So then the big question, I asked this yesterday on stream as well. What can Com2us add to the game to actually be more interesting for doing anything? Because adding another dungeon to farm is always a really difficult thing, because we have seen that with artifacts, people don't really like to farm another extra thing. But what if you have something else that you farm on the side? Or what if you have a different currency, such as your dimensional hole energy, but then something added on top of that, where you farm a 7th rune, but you only get that from that one thing, and you do that while farming your normal stuff, and you cannot buy any of the extra energy, for example. Something like that. I don't know. Just giving you a bunch of ideas. Something else you can do that would be definitely a lot of hype. More 2As. Very simple. More 2As. They haven't been doing 2As for a very long time. Like, maybe I can find it like this second. Do they actually write us 2A as well? No. Last one we had was the Harpoo. Nope, not gonna find it. I have no clue why how they wrote that last time around, but it's been a while as well. And then they only added in like one family rather than normally doing 2 families. But I talked about this on stream before as well. What if they take the really bad 4-star families? 4-star families that are not used as much. Or maybe even include a 4- or 3-star family that has a 4-star to make 2As of that. But for example, sure, they're used a little bit here and there, niche and whatever. But make these dudes 2A. Why not? Make them 4.5-star on base stats. They would be crazy and interesting. Same for these dudes. Like, there's a whole bunch of them. Sure, some are kind of niche, used here and there. But there's definitely families out there that if you would make them 2A, it would definitely give a little bit more light to a whole bunch of stuff. Also, simple things as like reducing RNG in your siege, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people that would quit the game over getting procced on 6 times in a row. I still don't get it why they don't want to reduce the violent rate in siege and kind of stuff. I do know it. They told me it's like if we reduce the RNG in siege, then siege would become too easy because you guys are already rocking like 97% win rates and 100% win rates and whatnot in the higher ranks. To be honest, who gives a shit about the higher ranks? We're winning anyways, like we're supposed to win and that kind of shit. But besides that, if a defense is allowed to do every skill, like we have this one shit right now where they do one skill in the right order. If my Maximilian goes for an S3, but this dude doesn't go for an S3, I'm fucked. The defense instantly loses. It doesn't matter how much it can proc or shit. So make it where I can select all of those 3 skills, or maybe the order of the skills every time. It would not be that hard. You can buff consistency and remove RNG in multiple kind of shape or ways, which will definitely make people happy, but they just have been neglecting that kind of shit. Same as this, for example. Trial of Ascensions, anyone? They added this as a big patch. Let's see how many people did actually clear thus far the stage 100. I was the very first one to clear it in all of the regions altogether. Let's see how many people cleared it on a floor 100 right now. 49. And I cleared this shit more than a year ago. 49 people in Europe cleared this shit thus far. This is not content. This is just an RNG fuckfest. And that is the kind of thing that I don't understand. Nerf this shit to the ground so people can, like, to be honest, the rewards on this, if you add up all of the rewards together, like, it gets you a whole bunch of devil months and that kind of shit. But, like, 90% of it's, like, hard lock between getting, like, a shit-ass freaking dungeon of you have to clear it with a LD5 or you have to clear it with, like, insane RNG or anything like that. It's just simply not fun. Those are the main things. Same for farming. By all means, remove 15 check from freaking PvE if you're 100 accuracy. You're overstacking accuracy by like freaking 75 or like 80%. You should be rewarded with like 100% guaranteed land. Sure, you want to keep in the RNG that you don't always use the right skill, blah, 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 that kind of stuff, because otherwise I will be loosening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 6 dungeons straight up. That would 100% be the case. Maybe it's a Lucian issue. I don't know. Maybe you could nerf ignore defense for PvE and therefore it wouldn't be an issue because it's more a Lucian issue than a game-wide issue in the first place. But yeah, allow me to do some more in PvE because a lot of people don't like farming this thing. You know why? Buff block fucking sucks. That's just the main thing. Buff block is just ass, man. There's just too many things where buff block goes hella wrong and you're like, yep. I'm not liking this one right now. I'm not liking this one right now. So, yep. In the end, if Com2us is actually going to do anything changing, I don't know. On Reddit, often people say it's like, oh, as long as people are spending on the game, they don't feel the need to change. Well, to be honest, I think we're kind of reaching that point where they feel that's like, yo, people are not spending as much. And sure, keep in mind, it's not actual 5 million. It's not actual 6 million. It is a lot more. But we're looking at the percentage drop from like a previous collab having a 12 to a current collab having a 6. That's a 50% drop. Or, yeah, if you look at the other way around, it's a 100% drop. Whatever you want to call it. So, well, this is 100% increase and that's a 50% drop. But whatever you want to look at it in statistical-wise, both are correct, kind of. So, yeah, this definitely does maybe give them a little bit of a wake-up call. It's like, yo, shit's not going on. People are not enjoying your shit. Maybe you should be stepping up your game. I was really hoping for Ethereum Restart to do incredibly well. So therefore, Com2us would maybe start stepping up their game. Did not happen. But then again, I've seen for Epic 7, I even heard that Shambi started streaming and playing Epic 7. And he was honestly like disappointed in himself for not starting to play Epic 7 5 years ago because he's actually generally enjoying the game. That's the kind of thing that I'm saying, man. There's so many games that are stepping up their game. There's actually so many games that are pretty decent that are released. Sure, Ethereum Restart, I also kind of did their own mess up, big part. Different story. But yeah, I definitely do hope that Com2us sees those numbers and be like, yo, just a collab with shitty units that don't add anything to the game with more packs of the same shit of re-ups that, like, you can buy this whole thing and the only guarantee you have is the 3k crystals. Everything outside of that is just the luck of the draw, and the luck of the draw has been kind of ass. Like, that's kind of the whole TLDR of this video. Not necessarily like a rant video, not necessarily a video of like, oh, we're gonna go end of service or anything like that, but just giving you a little bit of insight what I've been thinking of what Com2us can do. I've made these videos many times already in the past. I will also send this to my contacts at Com2us, the contacts that I do have, if they're gonna do anything with it or not. I've always sent them a lot of feedback. I've always sent them a lot of stuff, which I do recommend. Honestly, most of the time, I don't really hear back from it, which is a little bit sad. And most of the time, I don't really know. I'm freaking Jon Snow. I don't know what the frick is going on. I know nothing. The reason that I could put the dots together for this collab, or the reason I could predict this collab is, not which collab it was, but when there was a collab, was simply because of connecting the dots. It's not that hard. They don't tell me shit. So, which is also kind of annoying for me. But yeah, we're all being left in the dark. These numbers are definitely not looking good. I hope the numbers go up. I hope Com2us steps up their game. I do know everyone at the offices is like crazy busy with whatever they're doing, but that is the big issue. They are crazy busy, and honestly, I know they are crazy busy. But no one sees what they're crazy busy with, so everyone feels like they're doing jack shit. To be honest, even I feel the same way. And I work closely with them because I just see nothing happening in the game. Sure, they're working a lot on like these real-life events that keeps the community together. That's really smart to do because a lot of people, if you would ask them why you're playing, it's based on the community. And so therefore keeping the community together, doing like a really big event in Paris with a lot of seats, a lot of people are going to be there for SWC. But if you want to do something good, you should release like, if you want to take your time to do your SWC event in Paris, like crazy big, give out an LD5 event at that point. Like, to be honest, many people have said it, like they're never going to do an LD5 event or LD5 whatever until they actually have like really bad numbers. Well, hey, I don't know, man. These are looking like pretty bad numbers in my opinion. Because keep in mind, the Tekken collab is going to die out next month and the month after. If they don't do shit, we're looking at like, I'm predicting like a 4. I'm predicting another 4 and I'm predicting a 3 and then maybe December. That's what I'm predicting. Like, that's the downhill trend that we're currently looking at. So that's maybe the moment that you could go for a collab or for an LD5. But that's also the moment. I talked about this before. If you want to actually give like LD5s for free, better give them in a blessing because moment someone pulls this one over here. Let me just like, this is still my biggest meme unit for the longest time. Moment that someone pulls this one over here, they're out of here. Same for me for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Just a little bit of like, not necessarily a rant, not necessarily a doom talking. I don't think this game is going to be end of service anytime soon, because the only reason the game would reach end of service is if it is more expensive for the game to run than they actually do make the money. That's still the case where they do make more money than it is more expensive for the game to run, because I don't think it's that expensive. Probably a lot more like cost of like people working there. Maybe they first have to fire like I don't know how many people. But yeah, that's just pretty much what I do tend to see. That it's going downhill, and at some point it's gonna go bad. It's living for 11 years, which is already way longer than most people did expect it. But I would like to see a 15 years. I would like to see a 20 years. To be honest, 11 years. What the fuck does it matter? RuneScape is having its best time ever right now. I played RuneScape in freaking 2020 or like, no, wait. I played RuneScape in like 2004. It's 21 years ago, and it's currently having the most active players ever. It doesn't mean an old game is a bad game. It doesn't mean an old game cannot re-innovate and actually become good. And this video has definitely got way too long. So either yapping for me for half an hour, probably added some out. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. See you as always in the next one. And let me know in the comments, what should Com2us add to the game for you to be enjoying this game? And then I'm talking a big update, not just remove IOP. That's quality of life. What is a big update you would like to see in this game, and not just a small quality of life thing? Because in the end, it is very hard to add it into this game. But I would like to see your suggestion, or the suggestion they could do, still ramping on, like they do in RuneScape, make community polls in game. Let's say it's like, okay, if it reaches 75% on a certain thing, they're gonna implement it in game. They actually listen. The dev listens. Okay, let's end this. See you guys. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.